Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to all our viewers. I'm Yentel, and I'm so happy to be hosting this event here today. A first for TalentEase again, many firsts for us this year. So let's dive right in. We've had the first challenge on CreateSpace on our online portal, and it's been an exciting one. Lots of, it's the story writing challenge and short story writing challenge, and we had a lot of entries coming in. In fact, we extended the date and extended it again. And even after we closed the date, we had quite a few entries coming in. Thank you to all our participants for sending them through. We enjoyed reading all your stories. Thank you. Talking about our participants, we have a few young guests today on our online and live with us here today. I would like to welcome Rehan Khan. Maybe you guys can just wave once I call your names. Rehan?
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Arav Gupta.
Hello, everyone.
Gayatri Jagdev.
Hi.
Vishakha Singh.
Hello.
Shakina Princy.
Hi, everyone.
And Ashwin Balal.
Yep, hi.
Thank you. Thank you, guys, and thank you for being on today. These are our winners. We'll come back to them in a little while. With immense pleasure, I would like to welcome author Pradeep Govind here this evening, and who also happens to be the judge for the competition. Let me just screen share while we just introduce him. Raghav? Can someone let me know once the screen has changed? As it's a bit.
You can go ahead with the introduction.
Pradeep Govind is an NRI media marketing professional currently working for Muscat Media Group, Oman's leading media establishment, better known by its name of its flagship newspaper brand, Times of Oman. His short story titled The Soap Opera won the second prize in the Wordsmith Award contest conducted by Asian Literary Society in the year 2019. One of his short stories in the book titled Unto Thy Neighbor was awarded an honorable mention in the top 25 out of 1,114 entries in the prestigious international short story competition conducted by noted author Lorien Hemingway, the granddaughter of the legendary Ernest Hemingway. In 2013, he published his first book titled The Capillary Effect and other short stories on Amazon in Kindle format. Pradeep's second book, I, Duryodhana, was published in 2019 by Om Books International, one of India's leading publishers, and has garnered favorable responses across India, critically and commercially. Apart from writing, Pradeep is also a keen photographer and an enthusiastic musician. In 1995, he had brought out an English music album produced by the Gramophone Company of India on their HMV label. He had not only performed on the vocals, but also penned the lyrics and composed the music for all the tracks. This was one of the earliest English music albums by an Indian artist in India. He also scripted and directed a music video for one of the songs in it titled It Could Have Been Me. That was aired on leading satellite channels. He has also brought out an instrumental album on his keyboard titled The Celestial Reed in 1998. Welcome, Mr. Pradeep Govind. We're so happy to have you on, all the way from Muscat. Let's get right into it. Yes, we would like to all know what inspired you to be a writer. How did it come about?
Now, can you hear me? Audible?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, before I say anything, first I want to congratulate all the winners there, all the participants, and especially the winners, Ashwin, Shakina, Vishaka, Gayatri, Aurav, and Rehan. Wonderful work. I really thank you for this lovely reading experience. All of you deserved what you got, the awards, and it was a great experience getting an insight on how your mind works. So congratulations. I wish you great success in your writing endeavors in the future. And like I always say, whatever you do it the right way. And more importantly, do it the right way. WRITE. So anyway, so coming down to your question of what inspired me to write, that is a question, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. To tell you the truth, I had a flair for spinning tall stories when I was young, when I was a kid at their age, and but those were basically to escape punishment in school or at home, or whatever trouble I was getting into. But that apart, I was pretty decent in essay writing. And then towards the later days in my college, I did get into songwriting, being a musician. But that apart, I really never aspired to become a writer per se. But there was a particular incident that occurred maybe around 20 years back that changed everything. This was, I had visited a temple. I was saying my prayers in a temple. And when I came out of the temple, I saw this beggar. He was reasonably healthy. And I was wondering to myself, I mean, this guy can actually earn a living by working. Why does he need to beg? So while I was engaged in that thought, another thought suddenly struck me. And it said that, look, he is doing exactly what I was doing inside the temple 5 minutes back. I was also begging inside, and I've been blessed with good health and mind. And I was begging to the gods I saw in those stones, so to speak. So, and he was begging to the God he saw in me. So we're both beggars in the world. So that's the first time that I realized that being judgmental is not the best thing. So that inspired me to write my first short story titled The Better Beggar. And the response for that was pretty good. I mean, I had a very good response for it. People liked it and they encouraged me to write more. And somehow that started my writing process. And I ended up writing another 12, 13 short stories. And all with the common thread of, the folly in conclusiveness, or folly in being judgmental about people, about situations, about things. And that's pretty much how my writing process started as a writer, as an author, so to speak.
Wow. So your inspiration was that incident.
It was a particular incident, yes. Yeah, I never thought I would be a writer. But that one incident, it triggered off the writer in me, so to speak.
Very, very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Sure, yeah.
I would like the audience at this point, if you have any questions for Mr. Pradeep or any of our winners, actually, if you can type it down in the comment section on our YouTube link. So if you go onto YouTube and you go to TalentEase, we're streaming live right now, so you can type it on there. Thank you.
Until having said that, there's one particular point I would like to tell the winners. I mean, I'm duty bound to tell them on the basis on what are the criteria on the basis of which I had evaluated the scripts. That's very important, and it's my duty to let them know. See, I had given 50% weightage to the originality and imagination, 40% weightage to the language and the narration, and 10% weightage to the grammar, punctuation, etc. So now that I've disclosed that to all of you, go back and read your stories once again, and you can find out for yourself what is it in your story that worked for you to get this award, and what is it that you need to work on in the future. This will be very helpful for you. Yeah.
A great insight. Thank you. Thank you, Pradeep. I'm sure we all appreciate it. Yeah. With great pleasure, actually, let's get on to announcing the winners. We've already announced it on our social platform and as well as on our website, but let's do it for the viewers out here today. So we had two categories, the 8 to 12-year-olds and the 13 years and over. So in first place, we have for the 8 to 12-year-olds, we have Gayatri Jagdev from Manthan School, Hyderabad. Her story title being The True Optimists. In second place, we have Arav Gupta, again from Manthan School, Hyderabad, and his title being The Invasion of the Intruders. And in third place, we have Rehan Khan from Delhi Public School, Bangalore East. His title being The Great Battle Between Humans and the Virus. As you have guessed, it's pandemic related, virus COVID related, but the theme of the competition was how to turn bad news, something bad that's going on, into something good and positive. So this was the common theme for both the categories. For our 13 years and over category, the first place goes to Ashwin Balal with from SSN College of Engineering, Chennai. His title being Zazu. In second place, we have Shakina Princey from St. Joseph's College for Women in Vizag. Her title being A Doctor's Fight. And third place, Vishaka Singh from Timpani Senior Secondary School, CBSE, Vizag as well. Her title, The Revival. It was riveting reading all your stories. Congratulations on winning. The first place winners won a Kindle through Amazon. Congratulations, Ashwin and Gayatri. The second place winners won Amazon vouchers worth 2,000 rupees each. Arav and Shakina, congratulations. And the third place winners won rupees 1,000 each vouchers from Amazon again. Vishaka and Rehan, keep going. We have thanks, Vishaka. We want to hear from all of you actually right now. So let's get right into it. We'll start with Gayatri. So we'll start with the age, the 8 to 12-year-old category. Maybe each of you can read an excerpt from your story as well as tell us the message you're trying to convey through it. So Gayatri, go ahead.
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. I'm Gayatri Jagdev, and I study in Manthan International School in Hyderabad. First of all, I would like to thank TalentEase for organizing this competition and Pradeep sir for liking my story. So, the title of my story is The True Optimist. Here are a few lines from my story. Amanda had never thought that so many positive things can happen from a lockdown. With a smile, she said, "You know what? There's a very important thing that I learned from this lockdown. Something that I never realized before. I have learned that every crisis has a positive side, and we only find it when we have a positive mindset to hunt for it." So, the takeaway from my story is that there is positivity in every situation. Just like a coin cannot exist without two sides, a situation cannot exist without positivity and negativity. It depends on you, how you choose to see it and what you focus on. If you choose the positive side, not only you become positive, but you make others also positive around you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gayatri. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing with us. Arav, you're up.
Good evening, everyone, and my name is Arav Gupta, and I also study in Manthan School. So my story is titled "The Invasion of the Intruders," and my story portrays that in any challenging situation, there is always a ray of hope, and our basic knowledge in science can be very useful in these situations. Now, I would like to read a paragraph from my story. The battle began. The odious corona monster shot germs at the Centaurians. Blue blood fell on the sacred land of Proxima Centauri B. The Centaurians shot laser and soap at their nemesis. Green blood fell and mixed with the blue blood. The war continued for many weeks. The battle was as fatal as a world full of dragons. Thank you, everyone, and I would like to thank TalentEase for conducting this event and for liking my story and giving it second place. Thank you.
Thank you, Arav. You have some pretty big words in your story. It was a pleasure reading it. Thank you. Let's move on to Rehan Khan. Rehan?
Good evening to one and all. I'm Rehan from class 8 from DPS Bangalore East. So I'm truly honored to receive this award and would like to share a few words about my story. The plot of the story. A famous scientist finds the antidote for the coronavirus and then goes to a medicine making company to make more copies of the antidote. He demanded for free distribution of the antidote. When the medicine company refuses to provide the medicine freely, the scientist refuses to give the formula for the antidote. And a day after this incident, the scientist is kidnapped. The scientist's son is worried about his father. The medicine making company is threatening to kill the scientist if the antidote formula is not handed over to them. I leave it to the audience to guess the rest of the story. Whatever is done for love always ends in a positive note. The message conveyed by the story is goodness overcomes evil, no matter how strong the evil is. With this, I conclude my words. Thank you.
Thank you, Rehan. Very nice. Nicely read as well. Thank you. Ashwin, let's go on to you.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much to the team at TalentEase and Mr. Pradeep Govind for giving me this prize. So my story is based upon Zazu, which is a fictional character I took out of my favorite movie Lion King, and here are a few words from my story. So it starts off as family. Just saying the word made Zazu feel good. So good he said it again and again because after all this time, he was finally going back. Never had he thought he would be away from them for this long. He scratched another line into the tree beside him, knowing fully well it was the last time he would do it. A routine he had carried out at the end of every day, hoping that one day he wouldn't have to anymore. And that day was here. And yeah, I don't want to spoil the rest of the story for everyone who may read it later on, but those were a few lines from the story.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Ashwin, I got to tell you, I found your style of writing very unique.
Thank you very
It is a
much.
good, and your thinking was very out of the box. I really liked it.
Thank you very
Especially,
much.
I mean, it took a time for me to actually understand what you're writing about. But once I got it, I said, wow, that's great. Good show.
Thank you very much, sir.
Absolutely, and towards the end, you realize. So I'm just going to leave that as a cliffhanger for the
absolutely. Yeah.
Shakina.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shakina, and I'll straight away go to my read a few lines from my story. Tears welled in his eyes. Being a doctor, he was not supposed to be emotionally unstable or be empathetic, but please, he was a human. He couldn't stop his heart from feeling the pain. All the emotions he had tried bottling up for the last few days came out as a like a beast trying to swallow him up. See, normally we see doctors, they'll be strong-minded, and in any situation, they're really strong. But even they too have a lot of inner demons and stress and everything like to fight. But in this pandemic, they are like warriors in the field. They are giving their all, and that's what I tried my best in writing a short story and appreciating them. And thank you, TalentEase, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Beautiful. You're the one who took up that opportunity. Thank you for that, Shakina.
Thank you.
Vishaka, over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Vishaka Singh, and I'm 14 years old. And my story is about this little boy. He's 12 years old. His name is Alex. And his family moved from the small town he really loved to this big city. He moved from Sherwood to really busy hustle bustle city. And let's just say that transition is not the best transition any kid would like. He was away from his friends and his school was new. So this story, The Revival, is inspired by one incident that happened to me with my mother. So I would like to read a few points, a few words about from it. It must have taken a long time to build this beautiful garden, Alex said, planting a flower in the pot that he decorated. It did, his mother replied, trimming the bushes to shape them. It took a lot of patience, but it was endearing. I don't want them to remain short, she said, but I can't let the plants grow so tall that they break during a storm. Alex had no choice but to agree with it. It was true. In life, strictness is important. If I let the garden be and not shape it, it will turn into a jungle, wouldn't it? That's the crux of the story, and it happened because once when I got too engrossed in internet, my mom, being the responsible parent she is, tried to take me away from it. And me being the stubborn teenager I am, was not exactly all smiles and rainbows about it. So this mirrored incident happened when my mom took me to her garden, and that was my revival to realize that my parents would always think good for me. Thank you.
That's a good one. Well done.
Thank you, Vishaka. I didn't just love your story, but I absolutely enjoyed your reading of it today. I loved your expressions. Thank you so much for recreating
Thank
it
you.
for us. Uh,
And she's very argumentative, and I like people who argue.
yes, absolutely. Pradeep, let's go on to you for a little bit.
Sure.
Is there a process to writing a story? Is there some broad outline to follow?
If you're talking, see, I could, when I talk about a story, yes, what you need to do, I'll tell you what works for me. What you need to first have is a very clear idea on what you want to convey. If you don't have that, then I would suggest don't get into writing just for the sake of writing. You need to have something to convey if it's a story. See, first let me talk on what works generally for writing, and then I will come down to short story after that.
Right.
There are two kinds of writing. One is professional writing, and the other is inspired writing. So when you say professional writing, those are the kind of writings where reporters write, columnists write. They have a deadline to catch, and they can just fill up the columns with whatever they can search from Google, Wikipedia, cut, paste, and do a job. Or they could also write out of their own caliber. And then there are the inspired writers, and I believe I belong to the second category. Without an idea or without a thought, I can never write something successfully. I need a thought to inspire me, and then once I get that idea, I need to communicate that to an audience or a community. Without that, I never embark on this process of writing. So those are the two things now. And there are people who could fall into both these categories. There could be a combination of a professional writer as well as an inspired writer. Now, what I would suggest, a few things. If you're talking about short story, yes, like I said, you need to have a theme and you need to know very clearly what you want to deliver. And once you have that clarity, then you work on, structuring the whole thing. You build a story around that theme, the central theme. If this is what you want to convey, how do I convey it interestingly? Weave a story around it, embellish it, create instances, build characters. So that is something you've got to work on. And it'll be very easy to work on those when you know what is the core idea that you want to convey. You don't have that, everything else becomes difficult. So get a fix on that. And if you don't have that idea, don't get into it. People are not exactly waiting or dying to get a story from you, just any story from you. They need a story of substance. So when you have that something of substance, then work on it. Everything falls in place. And you have that, they say the three-part concept. No? Have an introduction that grabs the attention. Then have a body that retains that attention. And when you conclude, give it an impact. So when they finish reading it, it's not like, oh, they just read another story. They got something to take from there on. So that would be the way you structure a short story. If you're talking about short story. And if you want to develop this whole thing about writing good stories or articles or whatever, then there are a few things that across, whether it's inspired writing or method writing, whether it's professional writing, there are certain things that are common which you need to develop. Number one is you need to have a command on the language, command of the language. Now, when I say command of the language, I really don't mean, use high flowery words or big words or become let's say a Shashi Tharoor or anything like that. What you need to do is, the more simple your words are, the better your communication is. The more effective your communication is. But you should use the right word at the right place to deliver the right impact. Now, this is something that you will get with practice, and you need to be probably keep a diary with you, or now you have the mobiles that come with the voice recorder. Whenever you come across an effective phrase, a good phrase, good sounding phrase, or a good sounding word or something, record it, keep it at the back of your mind, archive it. You'll know there'll be some opportunity that life will present where you can use these words or these phrases. And then there could be opportunities where you can actually combine a few and make your own phrase or whatever. So just so that is the best way to build your vocabulary, build a command over your language. So the language is one. Second thing is that to write short stories or to write novels, whatever, you need to be alert, aware of the world around you. Just be inquisitive to know more what's happening around. And always ask these questions, like somebody was talking about. So you ask searching questions. Whenever a situation presents itself, ask these questions: why not, what if? I mean, keep asking these kind of questions, and you'll find a story opportunity just about in every situation that life offers you, if you actually search well enough. So that is the second thing. Third one is that to be a good storyteller, you need to develop something called empathy. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in another person's shoes and think from his angle. That's absolutely important to be a good storyteller, because you'll get a better perspective, better view of things when you're able to do that. And the fourth thing is, it works for me, is have a for a pinch as what do you call a pinch of humor in whatever. Yeah. Even in the most saddest or the worst of tragedies, an element of humor can be incorporated. A good writer, if he does, that humor can present itself in the form of irony or sarcasm, cynicism, whatever. But with the touch of humor, the writing goes to a different level altogether. So that I'm not saying humor in the sense of which is a funny, falling on a banana peel kind of humor. That's not the humor I'm talking about. Have a look at life from a different thing and have the ability to have a smirk at the situation, or a laugh at it. So these four things, if you can imbibe into make them your second nature, that if you become get those things consciously, it might be a little difficult in the beginning, but after some time you'll realize that it's become a part of you. That nature has become a part of you, and that's when I think most writers, I mean, people who write with these qualities, they become very successful writers later. You take the big guys, the Khalil Gibran's or whatever. They're able to, like Khalil Gibran with the crucifixion of Christ, and he tells people, "Why are you mourning over it? It's a pinnacle of when man has reached his highest glory, when he can stand on the cross and say, forgive these idiots, forgive these people, they don't know what they're doing." No, that it takes a guy to think like that, to write like that. So develop these things, and you'll sooner or later find yourself as a very effective communicator. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but if you're writing with conviction, and from here, your writing will have its impact. Like Hitler, when he wrote Mein Kampf, his story, a lot of what is written is rubbish, but he wrote it with a lot of conviction that it influenced the Germany of that time, that period. People were able to relate to him, and they followed him blindly. It could have been wrong, what he wrote could have been wrong, but there was so much of conviction in what he wrote. So that's what matters. So these things you just imbibe into your lifestyle, and you'll find yourself becoming a good writer if that's what you're interested in. You'll automatically end up writing good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, Pradeep. Those were some very valuable points. I hope everyone's written them down. Just talking about that, we had an audience question coming in. What do you do about writer's block? Have you ever had it?
Don't take it. Oh, you're asking me? Yeah, of course I had it. I mean, when my second book, the Duryodhana, the first 3 chapters were written in 15 years back. And the balance 53 chapters were written in a space of 1 month, 15 years later. So it happens. The thing is, don't take it too seriously. Don't be in an urge to write. So the worst thing you can do in a creative process is put pressure on yourself. So just relax. You got a writer's block. Don't look at it as a block. Just treat it as an opportunity to learn more. Maybe dwell more on the subject, on what you're writing, whatever. And keep searching. It'll come. It's a creativity. It's very fickle. You never know when it strikes you. But just be prepared when it strikes. Be prepared to grab the opportunity, and then with your skills that you've embellished over the years, in terms of language skills and your command over the language, your phrasing and all these things, embellish that idea. The idea will come. It'll come sooner or later, if not today, tomorrow. Everybody goes through the writer's block. It happens. Thing is not to take it too seriously and just relax over it. Just relax over it. Use the time to read more books. view more life, study more life, and you'll get it back. You'll get it back.
Thank you. That's assuring. Maybe if any of the speakers have a question for Mr. Pradeep? Any of our winners?
I think Vishaka asked me the question, what motivated me, right? Which I've addressed it
Just
earlier.
kind of lost connectivity there.
Yeah.
Might be back in a bit, but let's just give her a second if she can get back and ask her question.
No, she had asked me what motivated me to write, which I addressed it earlier.
Yes, so maybe you can tell. She had a second part to her question as well. Okay, anyway. Another question that has come about from the audience is, you spoke about, so okay, Vishaka is back. Maybe Vishaka, you had a second part to your question as well, if you want to ask.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I asked what motivates him to write.
Yeah.
What motivates me to write, or what motivates me to write? Okay, like I said, it's the for me it is like a particular. It could be a particular incident, a particular thought. It has to be a thought. I don't write just because I want to write. I never do that. I write because there is something that is forcing me to write, and it could be any incident. It could be anything that that has impacted me in terms of, like, when I read about something and I feel I should write something about that, or when I come to know about something. Like I said, I'm not a professional method writer where I can churn out columns, just like that. Every week, my weekly column. That is not something. There are people extremely talented at that. That's not my cup of tea. I need to be motivated. Means I need to have something about which I genuinely feel about. Then I can express it in words.
Thank you. Thanks, Pradeep. Another question that has come in that's kind of related, but let's address it anyway. You spoke about inspired writing, and a good story touches the mind and emotions. How do we do this effectively?
Like I said, you need to write it. First thing you need to, it has to come from here.
Right.
The core has to come from here, from your heart. And then the embellishment can come from your brains, what are the kind of words you want to use and everything. So once you have that particular idea that you want to think, and you're very clear about that, then the other things can, automatically, with your whatever you learn, the words, the phrases, you can embellish it. Okay. Use the right words at the right place. But the idea has to come from here. If you don't have an idea, don't pressurize yourself into writing something. Right. Say, for example, there is this in my book, I had written the story about something that about my daughter when she was 5 years old. We had an interesting conversation. So, and it was like, there was a single star on the sky, evening sky, just one star. And I told my daughter that you make a wish to the star and it'll make your wish true. Whenever you see a solitary star, make the wish. And her wish was that she wanted all the other stars to come on the sky, appear on the sky. So for me, the takeaway was that it takes a child, or it takes a selfless person to make that kind of a wish. So that was a theme. And then on that, I built up a whole story, basically to convey that particular, core of the story was that selflessness always works. So these kind of things. So you should have that idea in you, and it should come from here. Everything else falls in place. The audio is getting cut a bit, I think. Hello?
Sorry, just had a slight technical issue on my end.
Yeah. No.
Thank you, Pradeep.
No problem.
Who is, last question maybe, who is your favorite author and why?
Well, I have, I don't, for me, my favorite author, meaning, I don't go and read a book just because the author. I read a book based on, I can tell you some of the good books I've read. For me, The Godfather was one of my favorite books by Mario Puzo, The Godfather. Yes. Then, of course, Sidney Sheldon's style of writing, I love. I love his style of narration. Though I don't buy a book just because it's written by Sidney Sheldon. It has to be a good story. But the style of narration has, I have to admit, has influenced me a lot. his way of structuring a chapter, how introducing a character or building up the character, finishing each chapter with some kind of an impact. His style of writing. And of course, I'm a huge fan, a worshipper of Khalil Gibran.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't try to emulate him or anything like that. I mean, I just worship the guy because his way of writing and his way of thinking is something which for me, it's up there. It's on a different platform level altogether. So I'm a huge fan of Khalil Gibran. I've read his complete works. And yes, I would say he's one of somebody whom I really worshipped. His style of writing and everything. But I can't say that he has influenced my writing, but because you really can't. You can just aspire to write like that. You can't really write like that.
Great. Thank you, Pradeep, also for being so honest and open and sharing your experience and expertise with us. I'm sure that's benefited us.
Not at all. Not at all. I hope it's useful, and I hope I see more of these guys coming and winning more awards.
Yes.
And maybe the Booker prizes someday, Booker or Pulitzer, whatever. I hope I see all that.
Definitely. And one important point for all our viewers, you've heard little bits of all the winners' stories. You can read the complete story. It's on the site. It's live, published. It's out there. So get on to lifeskills.talentease.com. Go on to CreateSpace, and they have all 6 stories are up there. So please go ahead and read them. Also log on to CreateSpace for a lot more challenges and a lot more competitions that are on right now, as well as some more exciting prizes to win. So looking forward to more entries. I would like to sign off by saying thank you very much, Mr. Pradeep.
Thank you.
Not being here, but still making time, and also
not at all.
So kind.
Not at all.
And very.
Not at all. And I want to congratulate TalentEase also for this initiative. It's a lovely initiative, and do look forward for more such initiatives from you guys.
Definitely. Yes, we are only beginning. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you to all our winners. Thank you to Rehan, Arav, Vishaka, Shakina, Ashwin, Gayatri. Did I miss out somebody's name? No, I think I got it all. Thank you very much. Thank you for being on. And
Thank you.
does anyone have any last words to say? Do you want to say anything? Give a message out there? No pressure. All right. Okay. We'll sign off for now. We'll catch you on, so log on to talentease.com, get to know us better and get on there. And there are a lot of courses on there that can help you with the competitions as well. So get on to SkillSpace, CreateSpace, and keep doing what you do best. Thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of the evening.
You too.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.